Good afternoon, everyone. Hello and welcome to our Q&A with Theo. We're going to spend the next hour going through a range of questions that have been put forward by a range of students. We're delighted to have such a good turnout this morning. Theo Paphitis, to many of you, he doesn't need much of an introduction. You all know he is the Chancellor of Solent University, and we are delighted that Theo has given up an hour of his extremely busy schedule to come and spend it with us here at Solent. Theo is well respected for his business acumen, particularly his enterprising activity. Theo believes that the future will be entrepreneur-led. It doesn't have to be original, just better and improving a model. My name is Gillian Sayeva. I'm Associate Professor at Solent Business School, and I'm delighted to be facilitating this event here this morning. We'll just move straight ahead and I will introduce in the first student. So for those students who have been contacted to ask the questions, if you can come on camera, come off mute and ask the question. And I will call out everyone's name just prior to doing so. So the first question, if we can have Safaran from Business Management. Do you want to come ahead and ask the first question? Safaran there?
He's got his mic on. There we go.
Okay.
Gillian, I think Safaran might have needed, he's got some reasons why he possibly might not be here today.
Okay, no problem. He hasn't let me know. So I will go ahead and ask the question in lieu of him, and he can obviously watch it back in the recording. So Theo, Safaran's question is, in your opinion, what startup opportunities in business are opening up as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic?
Absolutely everything that was there before and more. When there's disruption, it's an opportunity. And my word, have we had disruption over the past 12 months. Businesses have stopped doing things that we're doing previously. They've cut their suit according to their cloth. We've got organizations that are popping up, giving new services that are more relevant for today's, I'm going to take a flyer on this, post-COVID world. We're nearly there, hopefully, but life will never be the same again, not for a long time, at best. So there's loads of things that are happening that are changing people's habits. So things that possibly wouldn't have worked before could quite well work now. There is needs, there is demands. It's that old saying, seek and you will find. Open your eyes and you will see. It's an exciting time for any young entrepreneur. Absolutely nothing's off the table.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Second question comes from Ramona, also studying business management. Are you there, Ramona? Okay, so Ramona's question is real estate still a profitable business to start in this pandemic time?
Wow. I'm not in love with real estate businesses. Most people made money in real estate. I've been either very wealthy or very lucky. There's so few that have actually worked hard at it. If you want to work hard at it, the answer is absolutely. Is as good as any time, because you're seeing rents going down, and whether it's in retail or in offices, or the reality is it's just a realignment. You're starting at a different base. So it's really not an issue. People will need property come what may. And the present downturn is just a realignment. So you could possibly argue it's a better time to do it.
Excellent, thank you. The next question comes from Ashish, who's studying marketing. Ashish, are you there?
Hello. Hi there.
Fantastic.
Hi there.
You get a cuddly toy for being in a person.
Thank you so much. Thanks. So my question to you is, now that we are supposed to be coming out of this lockdown, what would you say are the three main important or key factors or strategies for a business to consider?
They're not very different to before, other than I do have to qualify. What was accepted as the norm prior to COVID might not be now. So the takeaway I'm going to give you is assume nothing. Check everything. Re-challenge things that were a matter of course and were accepted as the norm. Make sure it still is the norm. Make sure that you're not entering into a market that's suddenly just gone away from you. So these are the key points. Otherwise, it's exactly the same. And it's just more emphasis on doing your homework. A little bit more research, a hell of a lot more research, not a little bit. You can't do too much before starting a business, I promise you. And don't worry about if it's overwhelming. Or don't even worry about it, and I'm going to contradict myself. Don't even worry about it if it looks so daunting once you've done your research that you think, shit, I'm not going to do this. It's impossible. Because all I'm going to say to you is, walk away from it, have a good night's sleep, look at it again in the morning, and then break it down to bite-sized chunks. Don't worry about the next one before you solve the first one. Worry about the next one after you've solved the first one. Don't start thinking, well, I'm never going to get around that issue, so there's no point worrying about these. That's a really wrong, that's a mistake. Break it down into bite-sized chunks, however small they have to be for you to be able to tick them off. And if the next bite is just too big, break it down again to levels at which you know you can tick it off. So you can't do too much research, but it might end up being daunting once you've done that. Just walk away from it for 24, 36, 48 hours. Clear your mind. And you will see things. And again, if you get stuck on the next bite-sized chunk, break it down. If you've broken it down as far as you think it's able to be broken down, walk away from it for 24 hours again. Do not just sit there. And it will come. Even when you're not thinking about it, I promise you, your brain is thinking. Even when you're doing something totally different. You could be gaming, you could be in the pub, you could be talking on the phone. I promise you, your subconscious will still be working and processing this issue.
Fantastic, thank you.
Thank you.
The next question we have is from Liam Ray, who's studying business. Now, Liam has contacted me this morning to say, unfortunately, he can't make the call, Theo. His question is on cryptocurrencies, but I have noticed another question has came in from Mohammed, who's studying maritime business, on a similar subject. So, Mohammed, I see your name here on the call. Do you want to come forward and ask your question, which is similar to Liam's? Are you there, Mohammed? I see your name on the screen.
Well, he's certainly there.
Okay, so maybe he's having trouble with his microphone.
Oh.
Okay, thank you for letting us know, Mohammed. Okay, I will go ahead. So this is a question from both Mohammed and Liam Ray, saying that I know you're very interested in tech, Theo. What are your thoughts on cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin, and do you hold any in your portfolio?
I am incredibly interested in tech. No, I don't hold any in my portfolio. And there's a very, 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 very good reason. And it's so simple. Anything that has such massive swings in its value on a regular basis is not an investment. That's a gamble. So we're moving away from investment. We're moving into gambling territory. And if there's no underlying reason to support a valuation or a price other than possibly demand, and we don't even know if that's what's causing it, if demand is what causes it to go up or down, but there's no underlying value to it, then you might as well go to a casino, put your money on black or red. But you can't have something that has swings of 20, 30% a day. It's not an investment. It's a total and utter gamble. So I don't gamble, so I haven't got any.
Very sensible words out to the troops there, Theo. And I think it's all that glitters is not gold, isn't that right? So proceed with caution, everyone. Okay, next up we have Gemma Mill, who's studying business management. Gemma, are you there?
I am here. I don't know why my camera's not working, but I am here.
Okay, do you want to go ahead and ask your question, Gemma?
Yeah. How did you pursue your first idea for a business?
How did I pursue my first idea of question?
Like start. How would you like go about starting your first business, or you know, what are the pointers that you'd set out for starting a business?
Oh, you want advice on how to start a business, or you want to know how I started a business?
How you started a business?
Oh, I was just desperate. I mean, listen, when you're young, bright, as I'm sure you guys are, but you suffer from dyslexia, you don't get a lot of opportunities. You don't get a lot of jobs. There's not a queue of people waiting to offer you a job. There's not a queue of people waiting to offer you promotion. So you'll see it's quite common. People ask me, you know, how comes so many entrepreneurs are dyslexic? It's because they had no choice. They're all bright people, but if they weren't dyslexic, they would have gone on to uni, they got to have further education, they would have gone possibly down a completely different route, an academic route. Because being dyslexic doesn't mean you're not bright, which historically was exactly what people thought. If you were dyslexic, you were thick. If I had a pound every time I was called thick by unwitting friends, and they didn't really, it was just a period. The more damaging bit would have been the teachers that should have known better. From kids, they could take it because they were just evolving, just like I was evolving in life. But teachers it was tough. You might start believing you're thick. So it's starting a business was forced upon me in so many different ways. I found it hard to get a job. When I got a job, it was the wrong job and I was absolute rubbish. I would have fired myself. Don't know why they put up with me so long. And even when I found a job I really enjoyed, the only way I could progress was to take exams. That was never going to happen. Just the thought of it would make me come out in a sweat and a dry mouth that I couldn't even talk to you now. I've got over it. But I wouldn't be able to talk to you because every time I sat at the exam table, I'd panic. I'd forget everything. And even if I had a class today and I had to write, and I participated in the class, and I had a homework along the lines of what the class was, I wouldn't be able to do the homework. Or it'd be incredibly tough and take me 4 times as long as everybody else. So being able to work for myself, work to my strengths, not have those pressures or having to work to other people's agendas, was the prime motivation for me of running my own business. And then I discovered I was actually good at it. And how did I know I was good at it? That old-fashioned measure, which I thought, of course, at the time, and lots of people thought at the time, and some people still do, that is the only measure in success if you're running a business. And that is how much money you make. Now, I actually don't believe that as much. I think it's irrelevant, because without the money, you're not going to survive. But I think there's lots more other things I discovered on the way, as you will discover as you start your own business. And your first instinct is to make money to pay the bills, make money pay the mortgage, your other business requirements. But as you become more and more successful, you realize there's so much more. And it's a lot more exciting, and it's a lot more challenging, and it's a lot more fulfilling.
Lovely. Thank you very much for that. And for anyone who's interested to get onto the academic aspects of what Theo has actually shared there, what he cited about having to start a business in order to pay the bills, there's a lot of literature on necessity entrepreneurship. So do have a look at that on the library portal. There's lots of journal articles if you want to do some more reading on that. Okay, moving on, we've got Olina from Business Management Foundation year.
Hello, hi Theo. It's good to meet you. I've got a question for you. What was your biggest fear in your life and how you dealt with it? Thank you.
Biggest fear? I think I've got to be frank with you. I think as a young man, and it really didn't happen till at the age of, I'd say 13, the year after I started senior school, so maybe 12. Up to then, I thought I had a huge confidence, by the way, absolutely. I mean, I always had confidence in myself and very massively logical. I was good at problem solving. And I had good friends. But it was about 12 that I realized that I wasn't progressing as fast and people were leaving me behind. And that was a tough period between 12 and 16. Coming from a single parent family, you know, on benefits, living in a tenement block. No real role models, although my mother worked incredibly hard. No business role models, so business was never really an option for me, or something I even understood what business was. Business was done by people in pinstripe suits that wore bowler hats and made loads of money and bought big houses. You know, it wasn't something that people like me did. But it was the real fear, the thing that kept me awake was the fact that I couldn't do my exams. Maybe I was thick. Maybe my future isn't going to be as bright as I dreamt. And by the way, I'm a big dreamer. I dream a lot. Dreaming is brilliant. Don't be embarrassed about dreaming, by the way. It's fantastic. Everybody's got a dream. So that was between that age, 16, 18, really was a worry that I was not going to go anywhere near fulfilling any dreams and ambitions that I had for myself. And the fact that I left school with a Scottish certificate in colouring in maps was my only certificate. Paid serious tribute to that thought. So that was probably the worst time of my life in worried. I've had various hiccups in business life on the way. In the 90s, when we had the crash and the last recession, I basically lost my house. Things were that because I was geared. So I had to sell it to pay what I owed. But even then, I knew as long as I could sell the house, pay my debt, I could go again. So there were difficult times. But the early days, without having anyone to help you, talk to you, show you that there was a path that you could go down and there could be something on the other side, was really the most difficult.
Thank you, Theo. That certainly gives everyone a lot to reflect on and take away. And it also builds very nicely into the next question that's going to be asked by Megan, who's studying festival and event management. Megan, are you there? I thought I'd seen her name on the list earlier. We've maybe got another Megan. So Megan's question is, do you believe there's some sort of pattern or formula to becoming a successful entrepreneur? Sorry, Megan's just said her mic isn't working.
Hi, Megan, you can hear me. Absolutely. It's called bloody hard work, determination, passion, desire, the will to overcome, to succeed, to prove to yourself, to prove to others. These are all traits that I see in successful entrepreneurs.
Lovely, thank you. Right, next one comes from James Penny, and James isn't yet a student with us, Theo, but he's a budding applicant to come on to business management with marketing. So we're hoping to be welcoming James onto our courses in September. He's got a very nice question for you. James, do you want to take it away?
Sure. Hi, Theo. Good morning. I saw recently that the Brewdog CEO, James Watt, mentioned on a recent LinkedIn post that in 2008, their business was rejected on Dragon's Den at test stage by the producers. Obviously, they've gone on to great success since. Are there any other examples of businesses that you feel slipped through the cracks that you'd love to have had the opportunity to mentor or work with? And if so, why?
Well, James Watts, who I've never met, I've seen him on TV and I've read loads of articles. It must be the best thing that ever happened to him, because he hasn't stopped talking about it. Now, obviously, I've not been aware, but his PR machine is unbelievable. Mention the words Dragon's Den, and there's a pickup. You get publicity for your brand. Mention, if you just say James Penny, well, not a lot of people are going to react, are they, James? If you say James Penny and Dragon's Den, all of a sudden you're going to get a follow-up. So congratulations to James, and I have no issue with it, and I think his PR is doing a good job. But the fact is, I'd never heard of him or Brewdog, right? It never hit my radar when I was on Dragon's Den. If it was turned down by the producers, I don't know. And for what reasons, I don't know. Maybe he came in and said, I've got a business worth £100 million and I want £1 million for 1%. But I've got no income and it's a great idea and I thought about it in the bath. He might have had that eureka moment in his bath before the water got cold and he shriveled up. And he's gone on with his dream to achieve a successful business, which is brilliant. But if he went in with that, with all due respect to the producers of Dragon's Den or the researchers, I'm sure that they probably thought, this ain't going to happen. Probably, we'll put someone else through. So we don't know. I've no idea. And as for other businesses, I don't know. All the businesses I saw, I don't regret investing or not investing. That's not technically correct. There was one particular one I regret majorly investing. But all the others, the ones I didn't invest, fine, I didn't want to. And I took that decision for a variety of reasons at a moment in time. We can't go around having regrets. Life's about the living, it's about the now. It's not about worrying about the past, about decisions you make. Because you know what? In business, you are going to have to make decisions every day, especially in marketing. And you make the decisions on the information you have in front of you, and you hope to make more right decisions than wrong decisions. For the person who says they've never made a wrong decision is a liar, or has never made a decision. I still make wrong decisions. Sometimes I'm only as good as the information I've got to base my decision on. And sometimes just don't fancy it, as we're all human. So you'll carry on making wrong decisions in your life in business. Just make more right ones than wrong ones. Make sure you've got as much information to make that decision. And if you haven't got enough information, ask for more. But don't take forever to make a decision either. I've discovered in life, it's going to be a long answer. Make sure it's a yes one. Quick no sometimes is a good decision as well.
Fantastic. Thank you very much indeed. Next question is from Noela from Business Management with Foundation Year.
Hi, my question is, when someone presents you with a business idea, which are the main outstanding characteristics for you to want to invest in it? Thank you.
You. I start from there. If I don't like you, I'm not going to invest in you. I don't care what idea you've got. If I don't think you're going to work and have all those traits that I mentioned earlier, the passion, the desire, the drive, the ambition, the hard work, then I don't want to invest in you. Because I'm not going to do your job for you. I'm not going to go and run your business. You're going to run it. So if you haven't got all those things, then the likelihood is going to fail. So honestly, I look at the person first, then finding that person's got all those traits, I then look at the idea. Is it viable? And if it's viable and they've got the traits, the likelihood is I'll give it a go.
Lovely, thank you. So it's all down to you, Noela. Okay, so next question comes from Nicholas, also studying business management. Are you there, Nicholas?
Yeah, hello, Theo.
Hi, Nicholas.
Yeah, so being someone who gets presented new ideas all the time, what do you think is the key to come up with creative and original ideas?
That's what we said earlier. I mean, I might have mentioned it when I was talking about James Watts. Look, when we finish with this call, Nicholas, go run a bath. Sit in that bath and stay in that bath till you have that eureka moment. And if you don't have that eureka moment, the likelihood is you're going to shrivel up because the water's going to go cold, right? And it's going to get very uncomfortable. I'm pulling your leg. You don't have a eureka. It's rare. These things very rarely happen. There is not that eureka moment. People don't go and start businesses because, you know, they've just had that eureka moment. And they've got a unique idea that no one's ever thought of in the whole of their lives. The reality is, there's very few original ideas. Someone could already be doing what you think about to start a business, but can you do it better? Can you execute it better? Can you adapt it? Can you make a difference? Has it got a reason to exist? So you don't need a unique idea to start a business. It doesn't have to be unique. It could be something that's already out there and you follow the trend, but you can do it better. So that's the answer.
Cheers.
Lovely, thank you. Next up, we have Patrick Day-Childs, who's studying marketing.
Yeah, you may have answered this actually with Do It Better, but basically I run a video game event that I'm going to name drop called the Southampton Game Fest. It started in a roller disco for about 150 people, and it's kind of grown year on year, and now we're in St Mary's Football Stadium. But what I found is as I've grown, companies have started copying, well, using a very similar business model, and they basically have more resources, and I've found that they've started moving into the same area. So how do I combat kind of competitors with considerably more resources?
Shit, Patrick. This is going to happen. You have no rights to your idea. If it's not patented or protected in some way, people will copy you for all the reasons, Patrick, I said earlier. What you have to do is your early mover advantage. Be aware that there'll be always somebody trying to nick your lunch. If you need to raise more money, go out and raise it. There is no point saying, I want to keep 100% of this business and grow at 5% a year, 10% a year, when you could give a percentage away. I don't know, they gave 30% a year, 30% away to somebody else who can give you the capital to allow you to grow 100% compounding for the next 3 or 4 years. So I would rather have a smaller percent of something much, much larger than have a larger percent of something small. So if it's capital that's holding you back, then you've got to go and raise capital. If it's your business plan, if it's your product that's holding you back, if your product is not scalable in the same way as other people's products are scalable, then they're going to leave you behind. Patrick, does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think so. I think part of the problem is, so it has scaled up, but I think we've probably hit where we're going to. It's a mix of capital, and I think they've just got much more experience as well. It's a massive company that I've spotted, but yeah, no, I think it does.
Oh, do you always throw the towel in so easy?
Oh, I'm trying. It's just it's difficult, especially with COVID, because we had to delay for 2 years. But yeah, I'm trying to be dynamic and change, but it felt like every time I kind of hired someone to do a talk or something, they would hire someone further up the chain with more kind of following. So we're trying to be dynamic.
No one
Go for
said it was going to be easy. Which goes back to all the things I've been saying so far about why invest in people, as opposed to just the idea. When you're starting a business, you need that resolve, you need that drive, you need that desire. You need to be robust. And there'll be always somebody out there trying to nick your lunch, kick you up the backside. You've got no rights to own something or a market to yourself. There will always be competition. Whatever you're doing, there's going to be competition. Whoever you are, there's going to be competition. So just accept it, suck it up, and just be determined that you are going to identify what you need to do to make sure you are competitive. If it's cash requirement, see where you can raise capital. If it's experience, bring in some partners, non-executives or mentors. All this is available to you. But you have to identify the issue first. Identify the issue and then break it down into bite-sized chunks and attack each one of them. Don't look at the bigger picture and worry yourself. Break it right down.
Well, thank you.
Right, off you get.
Lovely, thank you. And Patrick, if you're not already in touch with our Solent Futures enterprise team, we'll quite happily put you in touch with them and our entrepreneur in residence that can help you channel some of those recommendations that Theo has indeed put forwards. Okay, so next one is Kaylin Priera from Business Foundation Year.
Hi, my question is, why is business so important to society?
Oh, I just looked at the question earlier and I had a very funny quip, but I'm not sure I'm going to make it. It's too political. Business is only part of society. I think I started off right at the beginning to say when I started in business, it was to make money. I needed money. Then I needed to earn a salary, to pay the mortgage, the bills. Then I needed money to expand, money to buy equipment. I just needed money. And that's what I thought business was. Then very, very quickly you realize, as I said earlier, business touches all parts of society. Whether it's your colleagues that you work with, the jobs that you create, what happens to them when they go home, what happens to their earnings, how do they spend their money, all the way down the chain, their children, the other things that you touch on, the environment that you touch on, the local community that you belong to. Might be an international community, but it might be a local community. All these things are your touch points. And those touch points have an effect on everything around you. And you can be a good business, which means that your touch points create nice things, or you could be a bad business, which means your touch points don't enhance society, don't enhance the world, don't make it a better place to live in. Sometimes you don't always have the choice, and sometimes you don't always recognize it. But when you recognize it, you give yourself a choice. The two are quite intrinsically linked. And that's why business is important to society and has to link and be part of society, and it can't be business. It can't be bloke in a pinstripe suit with a bowler hat and umbrella. It can't be a Flash Herbert on a trading desk in a big glass tower in the city of London, just trading. That can't be. That is all businesses. It's part of our fabric. It's part of what we do. It's part of the way we live. We buy things, we trade things, we acquire things. And all of it is business.
Lovely, thank you. And I think what a lot of what Theo has touched on there is underpinned in the World Bank report, Build Back Better, which some of you may already be familiar with. If you're not, do have a read of it, because it's the essence of what Theo has indeed shared there. We have a final question now, and that's from Jack Goddard, who's studying marketing. Jack, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, Jack.
Hi, Theo. What information would you give to your younger self starting out in business, knowing what you know now?
Jack, I'd love to tell you that was an original question, but I get it so often. And the reason I'm saying that is not to dumb down the value of the question, Jack. The reason I'm saying that is because I get it so often, and I still till today would only give myself the advice that I had available to myself from within. And I was very fortunate, incredibly fortunate, that I was able to have that drive, that passion, that desire, those things that would allow me to overcome blockages, things, reasons why not, reasons not to, reasons to give up. And whenever I felt like that, it wouldn't last very long. The following morning, I'd be back at it again. And that's the same advice I'll still give. Is there will always be negativeness, there will always be reasons why you can't achieve your dreams. And you can't allow that to get in the way. And even when you think, I have absolutely, totally, and utterly failed, screwed up, messed up. I was going to use the F word, but this is an educational video, so I can't use that either. You all know what I'm going to say. Even when you've got to that stage, just step away and take a small amount of time to look at it again in the morning. And the morning will always look better. It will always look better. And every morning it's going to look a little bit better. And that no one gave me that advice, but it was how it was the biggest strength that I had. And you do not become an overnight success. We all know this. The tech companies that have an idea, they spin it out, and within, the 25-year-old kid's a billionaire. Bloody fantastic, right? But you know what? There isn't a lot of those stories. There's billions of us. There's a handful of those stories. It's a gradual, step by step by step, drive, determination. Someone put grit as well on the screen just now. Don't just wait for that eureka moment. Don't just wait for that one. I've won the lottery. It just doesn't happen. There's only so many lottery winners. Every step is a step. Every step is a step to the end goal. Sounds very corny, sounds so simple, but believe you me, over a period, it will, I will guarantee you, you will show again.
Lovely. Thank you very much for that, Theo. We've got time now just to squeeze in a final question that has actually came in through the chat. We have Francesco with a very good question, and it's something that the Business Management Level 4 students were actually doing sessions on yesterday. So Francesco, do you want to go ahead and ask your question?
Yeah, thank you. My question is, how important are negotiation skills in entrepreneurship, in your opinion? Have you experienced personally or seen from other entrepreneurs good ideas and startups not being stricken because of a lack thereof?
I've got negotiation skills and ideas from entrepreneurs. I missed the last word. I'm sorry, Francesco.
No, it was just if you experience personally or from other entrepreneurs, maybe not having striking deals because of a lack of negotiation skills.
I don't have many original ideas. Most of the things I say are common sense, right? And life is common sense. Most of business is common sense. One key piece of advice I will give you is sometimes we don't know what we don't know. And that's always a danger. So the job is to know, is to try and know, identify the things that you need to be successful in your chosen field, in your business. And we touched on it earlier. If it's capital, go seek capital. If it's experience, mentoring and advice and knowledge, go seek it, because it's out there. More so than ever before. Listen, when I know we're running short time, but when I was at school, if you needed to help with your homework or needed information, you had to go to a thing called the library. There used to be public libraries in most communities. There isn't now. I know you've got them at universities and schools, but you have to go to the library. The real rich kids had a set of encyclopedias called Encyclopedia Britannica. And their parents were rich because they'd buy them this set of encyclopedias that had to be updated every few years. And it was like a huge amount of money, but it was knowledge. And you might get an invite to their house to have a look at a subject, and you could read up on a subject. Now, the power we have in that little thing, your mobile phone, the internet, there is very little you can't research, you can't find now. So there is really no excuse not to be able to find the things that you need to grow your business, start your business, and what you need. It's out there. Just identify it and then break it down and do the work. Doesn't sound complicated, does it?
Lovely, thank you. Theo, we've got a couple of quick questions that are coming in. We're wanting to squeeze in a couple more before 12 o'clock. We've got Gurman Digwa has got a question for you. Gurman?
Yep, it's Gaman, sorry. Yeah, hi there, Theo. First of all, it's a pleasure to meet you, and thank you so much as well for talking to us at Solent about this. Is really inspiring. My question for you is, what are your habits for success?
The habit to be successul.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
The will. When you taste it, you want more of it. And you know, you don't get out of bed in the morning just, well, you know, I used to. I stopped getting out of bed in the morning a long time ago to make money. I get out of bed in the morning because I love what I do. And the money is a scorecard. At the end of the year, you do your tax returns. Boy done good, boy done okay, didn't do bad, whatever, right? Because I want to do it. And it's a byproduct. The cash becomes a byproduct.
Yeah.
That's it.
Thank you so much for that. Yeah. So I agree with that completely. Is doing what you love, and then the cash is just an extra bonus.
And if you love it, it's easy to do, isn't it?
100%. I think I've definitely had to do that throughout my degree. Convince myself that I love it, and then remembering this is what I'm doing to enjoy it. Thank you so much.
Good for you.
Excellent. Thank you, Gurman. And Maria Hutchinson, you have a question there.
Yeah, I would love to know, Theo, what's the biggest mistake you've ever made in terms of your business, and what's the main lesson you learned from that?
Listen, it's just so difficult to pick on one biggest mistake, because I've made so many, Maria. Honestly, I can't tell you how many screw-ups I've made in my life. You know, when you're entrepreneurial and you're young, you make mistakes. If you haven't got the right advice, you haven't done the right homework, some you should have seen coming, some you can't see coming. This pandemic, with all due respect, it was a tricky one to see coming. But we've got to get on with it. So I've made lots and lots of mistakes. It all to do with when I talked about losing my house earlier in the 90s recession. I geared myself up. I thought nothing could go down. So you constantly learn that things can go down. Just like we talked about cryptocurrency earlier. Don't just go up, then go down. And it's things like that you learn. And those are painful mistakes. And it's great to learn from other people's mistakes. That's the other bit of advice I'm going to give you. Bloody listen. Because, it's a lot less painful and cheaper to learn from other people's mistakes than from your own.
Good, lovely, very wise words there. Just another quickie we're squeezing in here, Theo. Sam from Solent Chancellor, do you want to ask your question?
Yeah, thank you very much. So my question was, with your success, have your activities moved to more like a philanthropic outlook, or do you still kind of ideally look on a day-to-day basis of normal like business run-ins?
You can do the two are not exclusive, right? You can do both at the same time. And that's something that I wish I picked up earlier. The two really do fit in really well together. So they work, they work brilliantly together.
Fantastic. Thank
Lovely.
you.
Thank you, Theo. And by way of just a final question, we know that you are rushing off now at 12 o'clock to a board meeting, so we don't want to hold you back. We know this is part of your typical day today, but we've got Boris who wants to know, can you just describe what a typical day looks like?
Alarm goes off at 7 o'clock. I like to exercise in the morning for half an hour, 40 minutes before I go and do anything. I hate mornings. I don't like I'm not a morning person. I'm a night person. Very rarely go to bed before midnight. But I'm happy on 6 or 7 hours sleep. That's plenty. I will get myself ready. I don't leave home till about 9:30. I want to chat to Mrs. P, and when the kids were around, I'd have to deal with the kids and everything else. And then that's it. I'm in the zone. And it will be pre-COVID. It will be definitely a case of my office is my car. I like traveling. I hate just being in an office. And my office days are probably maximum 2 days a week. The rest of the time, I'm out and about. I'm meeting people, talking to people, visiting our stores, visiting our distribution centers, traveling abroad, looking at new ideas, visiting some of the investments I've made. And to me, that's a great day.
Perfect.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Sounds like a really good, great day. And Theo, thank you very much for giving us a great hour of your day. We've really appreciated this morning. We do appreciate how busy you are. Lots of knowledge shared here, and it was great to see the students coming forward with a wide range of really good questions. So we know they're going to be taking a lot away into their own entrepreneurial journeys. And I'm sure you look forward to seeing some of these faces on the stage in the Guildhall in due course.
Well,
So
Theo, because of a graduation ceremony, it seems such a long way away these days. I forgot what the last one looks like.
I know. So Theo, thank you very much indeed. Everyone will love watching this back on the video link. Thank you, and we look forward to when we can hang out with you again. Thank you.
I'm looking forward to seeing you all, hopefully in Southampton. And when we've got more time, and it's so much better to do it face to face. But thank you for your time and your great questions.
Thank you so much.
Okay,
See you guys.
thank you.
Take care.
Take care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.